the 7th of September, Rabbi Furst, Havos Halavovos.
Very good. Good morning. We're now getting ready for Rosh Hashanah. We are in, the second paragraph on the second page of the document, the paragraph beginning with Shuva Tzricha Arba Tanoim. Shuva requires 4 requirements.
Hashuva
Okay,
Tzricha
let's
Arba
continue.
Tanim. Shuva requires for what is Tanaim conditions?
Conditions, right.
Ha'echad she azuv hachata bein v'maaseh bein b'machshava. One,
Right. First condition is that you must ta'azov, you must refrain. You must refrain and forsake. You must refrain and forsake the sin, whether through your behavior or with also in thought. You can't say, well, you're going to stop stealing, but you're going to think about how nice it is to steal. No, you have to put it out of your mind that you have to realize stealing is something forbidden, and you have to refrain from doing it as well. Both are absolutely necessary. One without the other is not going to do the job.
let's see. So this who she hanavia tavoach Yazuv Rasha Darcho Zehu Ha Maaseh. So he Shahanavia is a prophet.
Right, the Neviah, that's in Yeshaya. He's quoting the Navi would scream. Navi, we think, wow, that would be such a nice thing to be a Navi, that you get a lot of um, honor, a lot of pride, people respect you, right? You should know the Naviim didn't have it easy, Bechlal. People hated the Nevi'im. The kings tried to kill the Nevi'im, right? And they weren't listened to. It was a thankless job.
So the Navi commanded.
Well, Tzavach is more than command. He screams. He's screaming out at you.
He screams at the wicked person that he should he should forsake the ways of his actions.
That's right. That's right. Ya'azev Rasha Darchai. That the wicked one should forsake his way. You have to do away with what you're doing.
So the first one is to refrain from doing it. Second one is to forsake doing it.
Basically it's both. It's refraining and then refraining and forsaking, and then even we'll get to that's in behavior, and you have to also do it in mukshav as well. You have to do it in thought as well.
The ish avon machshavosav zehu hamachshava. and a man's sins with his thoughts, that they are his thoughts.
Right. Ve'ish avon makshavosav, and the person who is a transgressor should also forsake his thoughts. That's in makshava. Right.
Lefi sheyesh kama b'nei adam shehu sivorim she'ein toeles ha v'ha safe v'hafseid b'machshavos halev ki im b'dibor u'b'poal. Accordingly, there is so there are some people that they think that there is not a purpose. What does Hef said?
Right. That there's the fee. Sheish kama b'nei adam. Since there are many people, Shem Shovin, that these people think she'ein toeles v'hefsid mamak shabbos halev ki im b'dibur urpal. There are many people that think there's no benefit or deficit in the thoughts of the heart, what the person thinks in his mind. Only those things which are verbalized and only those things which are actually done. But anything that takes place in the mind, they think that there's no benefit to what you think in your mind, and there's no loss in liability in what you're thinking in your mind. I mean, they think the mind has no effect, and the person's not judged on the thoughts of his mind. That's what they think.
V'davar yadua ki ikar shemachas haguf bitzaro taluyim bilibo. And the thing is known that the essence is this simchas of happiness?
Right, it's known. Ki ikar simchas aguf betzaro tolim beliboy. That it's known that the primary joy that the physical body experiences and its tsar and its distresses is dependent upon his mind. Totally believe it.
In Cain, Arei she hamachshava mitepo al beguf kefi hatur o kefi hasimcha. Therefore, we see that the thoughts what is this mispalat?
Mispalos beguf, meaning if so, right? If so, that the primary joys and suffering of the body are dependent upon what a person's thinking about, uh, then if so, Hari makshavos usmifpoil beguf. The thoughts of a person, they have a effect. They have a effect on the body. It's called mind over matter, right? You heard that expression?
Yes.
So this is a, don't think it's a new concept. This is something which has been written over 800 years ago.
Okay, so the thoughts have an effect on the body.
Right.
Kifi hatsa'ar in accordance with the difficulties or in accordance with the thoughts.
Kafim simcha, right? It all depends upon the thoughts, how they affect the body according to the uh, suffering or according to the joy, the
Sure.
pleasure.
V'ha mofes al zeh hakasuv shamar. What is mofes?
And the Amophis is, we speak about that we in Haggadah Shal Pesach, the pasuk says, "Kadosh Baruch Hu Yotzianu miMitzrayim b'mofsim," right? B'mofsim, with wonders.
Wonders. Uh, and the wonder of all this is as it is written in Mishlei, Lev Sameach Yativ Panim. The joy of the heart. What is Yativ?
Yativ is like from the same source as Toiv, right? Leiv Sameach Yativ Panim, a joyous heart, right? Uh, brings goodness to the panim. That's usually the face. But let's take a look. Let me see what the Meforshim say here. 1 second. Maybe spelled differently. 1 second. Huh, interesting. Okay, I have to see another way. It's in Mishlei Tes Vav. There's a Gimel. Second. Here we go with the pasuk. Okay. Leaves. Okay. Rashi says, "Leiv sameach itev upon im tismach liboy shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu b'lechtecha b'drachav yitev loch panav lasos kol rtzoncha." Wow, you see that? If you're gonna itev panim, it says like this: if you are going to, Rashi says, if you're going to gladden, so to speak, the heart of a Kadosh Baruch Hu by going in his ways. Yitiv lach panim. He is going to show you a good nice face. Lasos kol tzorchecha, to do all your bidding. Vimnis atzvu. If you're gonna, on the other hand, anger a Kadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak, that's not going to work out for you very well at all. That's another shot. Okay. Here, this shot is more closely right. Right. That a person that has his lave, who's has a person that has a joyous heart will have a glad countenance, a glad face. So you see, the heart has a influence on the person themselves.
Right.
Okay.
Ikar Tanug Haguf Yigia Machshavas Halev Ki Halev Sarash
Shorish is the root, the source.
Shorish, the source, Viha Machshavos Mish Targos Mimenu Ki Nafim Ha Mish Targim Mishoresh Ha Elon. Okay, so the essence of what is Ta'anug?
That's the pleasure, the ikar tanug aguf, the ikar pleasures of the body, of the physical body, yigia, is achieved.
Is achieved from the thoughts of the heart. Because the heart is the source of the thoughts. Mish Targos, I don't know.
That the primary pleasures of the body are achieved through the joyousness of his heart. He is halev shorish, since the lave is the source, v'makshavos, and his thoughts, misrag rosh mimeno, and his thoughts are consequences of his heart. Kanafim hamis sargrim mishorshe ilon, just as the branches are tributaries from the roots of the tree.
The kasham shemisgala the on theme koach hashorish shehaya bo lach lochis kain Yis galu befanim machshavos halev im Litzar im l'simcha. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Kasham.
Right. That the he's explaining just as the heart is the source of all the thoughts which bring joy to the person's body. Likewise, it's very similar to the branches of a tree. From they are tributaries that are found their sources in the roots of the tree. Kashem shemizgala anafim koach hasharash, just as it is revealed in the branches of the tree, the strength of the roots. Shai sabo luchlochas, that in the roots there is the in the roots themselves the moisture. Luchlochas is the moisture. Ken yizgala panim makshavas alev. Likewise, it is revealed in the heart, in the face of a person, the thoughts of the person. Just as the leaves, the branches and leaves of a tree will reflect the roots, likewise, the face of a person will reflect the thoughts of his heart.
Zahu sha'ar leiv simach dugomer. And this is what is said about a joyous heart, etc. Uva tzavas leiv ruach nechia. What is tzivas?
Right. This is like the ba'atzvus. Atzvus is like depression, with a depressed mind. A person has a depressed mood. He's in a depressed state of mind. Ruach nechne. He'll have a humbled spirit. He'll have a lowly spirit.
Ki lo timtza hana'a leguf im shavar haruach uch inyan shekasuv. Since we do not find a benefit to the body with what is shavar?
Right, shever rucha. We don't find that there's a benefit to the body with a broken spirit. A broken spirit will not be healthy for the body.
And concerning this matter, it is written, Ruach nicha mi yishana. A humble spirit. What is yishana?
That like a broken spirit. Let's take a look here. 1 second. Let's take a look. That's in Mishlei Perik Yud Ches, Pasik Yud Daled.
Budapest is 18. New dollar is 14. 18, 14.
Who can be, yeah, right. I think like a ruah, a broken spirit. Who can bear a broken spirit? I mean, I think that's referring both to the person himself and also to other people. Let's take a look. I want to see the Meforshim here. That that right. Who can bear a broken spirit? Meaning, let me see the information. It could apply definitely himself. A person who's in a depressed state of mind, he certainly is not going to be very happy with himself, right? And also other people are not going to be interested, you
What
know,
does it mean? The beginning of that verse, it says the spirit
right?
of a man will sustain his infirmity. What does that mean?
That the the person who even doctors have discovered this now. Doctors, after many centuries of blindness, have discovered that the patient's um, morale is very important in his dealing with the illness. All right, that they used to think you just treat the body, just give it its medicines, just take care of what it needs to have in terms of maybe medicines, diet, the cleanliness. You know, you just take care of that. But they discovered that to their surprise, that the person's state of mind, his emotional state, is also very important in the ability for the body to uh, fight the illness. And so now they do a lot. You know, they have medical clowns. You know, you ever hear about medical clowns?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, they're not the directors of the hospital.
Well, they're also.
Look, I'm sure it's no easy job being a director of a hospital,
Right.
but so, but they have medical clowns. They have medical clowns that they come in and they cheer up the people, and they try and put them in a good mood and distract the people from their pain or their suffering, right, or their fears. People are sick, has to show them. They have besides from suffering and pain, they also have fears. A lot of people are very concerned about the future, what's going to be. You know, they have to await a certain procedure. They have to wait for tests to come in, and you know they're worried about the results. And you know they've discovered, as I said recently, that the emotional moods of the person, the patient, are very instrumental in his the body dealing with the illness at hand. And this is the pasuk in Mishlei. It's no chiddush. No, it's not as Shlomo HaMelech said. There's nothing new under the sun. You just have to pay attention to what we already know and take it to heart. So now finally, right? They've come around and they acknowledge that this pasuk in Mishlei is is valid for their usage, and that's what it says. Ruach ish yikalkil mechelai. The spirit of a person will sustain his illness. Meaning, if a person has a good approach, you know, a positive approach, he's going to do much better in the treatments and in recovery and all kinds of things in dealing with the illness in general. And ruach nechena mi ishenu. But however, on the opposite hand, a person who has a broken spirit, who can bear that? Meaning, pashtus, right? Pashtus, it's talking about the person himself. Meaning, if a person has a broken spirit, he's not going to be able to cope very well. But it also applies. I want to see if the portion actually say this. But it also applies equally to other people. No one wants to be around a sour puss, right? No one enjoys a sour puss. right? That whatever for whatever reason, okay, look, it's a big mitzvah. If a person for some reason is not in a good mood, it's a mitzvah to cheer him up. You know the Gemara, right? There's a Gemara. I forgot exactly where. Elianavi was in a shuk, was in the shuk in the marketplace. So one of the Tanoim asked Elianavi that who in this marketplace is a Ben Olam Haba, right? So Elianavi pointed to two brothers. Right, two brothers, and they look like very simple people, not particularly noteworthy from their dress. That they were Talmid Chachamim, didn't look particularly pious, didn't look particularly sagacious. So the Tana went over to them and he says, "Tell me, what do you do? What do you do? Anything unusual? Anything unique?" Right? So they said, "Yeah, we cheer people up. We see people that they're in low spirits, and we make it our business to try and cheer them up." And for that, Eli and Navi could see Baruch Kodesh that these people, because of that desire and that ability and that mitzvah of cheering people up who were sad, they would be Zoika to Olam Haba. Right? So it's not a simple thing. It's not a minor thing at all. It's something which is very valuable and very important. And it's a very big mitzvah when you see somebody who's down in the dumps for whatever reason. Right? Again, a person should be down in the dumps, but sometimes things just get to be overwhelming for a person. They can't cope. So that's where you step in. You step in and try and cheer them up, give them some hope, right? Help them see things from a different perspective. And if you do, that's a tremendous mitzvah, very very big mitzvah, and it's based on this pasuk here, right?
Let's see.
Okay.
Umeata nochal lilmod mizeh onesh halev hasimcha hasimach bechata ki hamachshava hahi yotz as lifoel ba'asher hasimcha hahi nicharas baguf zelev simach yatov panim. Okay, so and from now, what is nochal?
We're able.
You're able to learn from this reward of the heart is joy.
The oynish the oynish, we can learn the punishment.
Oh, the punishment of the heart.
Okay.
And is this simcha, or it's not something else? What is this word? Hey, shin, mem, chet.
That hasimcha, right? Again, he's been trying to prove with these psukim from Mishlei and others that there are many people that think what goes on in the heart doesn't matter. And again, we have to try and put this back to where we started. We're talking about doing tshuva, right? So I mentioned that doing tshuva, first thing you have to do, of the four things you have to do for tshuva, is that you have to stop doing the avera. You have to stop doing the sin. That's in both in behavior and also in makshava. Meaning you cannot desire to do the sin and certainly you cannot do the sin, but you can't even think about wanting to do the sin. And people may think that, well, what does that really matter? Does it really matter what I think about? Maybe that doesn't matter. As long as I don't do the sin, maybe I've done a good tshuva. So he says no. And he brings proofs, because the proofs are as follows. Just to summarize, we see many psukim that he brings down that the physical body is influenced by the thoughts of the heart, the thoughts that the mind produces. And it's not only physically affected, but it will also affect the body in terms of the behavior that the body will exhibit. Right? We see that the thoughts of a person's heart will reflect on his face, right? And facial expressions are already it could be considered very strongly in the realm of behavior, body language, as they call it these days, body language, right? Yeah, people do things with their bodies, and they're threatening, they're affectionate, they're all kinds of things. They're doing things. This is behavior already. This is all behavior, and that all results based on the fact of what's going on in the person's lave, in his heart, in his mind, and his thoughts. And don't try and deny that, because we see that the psukim in Mishlei bear out very clearly that when a person has positive thoughts, that will sustain him even in the face of illness. And if he has negative thoughts, it'll be very hard for him to bear even his own self, even if everything's fine. But if he has thoughts which are detrimental, that's going to affect his general outlook and his general behavior. And so now, how does that now, coming back, how does that now come back to tshuva? Well, we discussed at the very beginning. It comes back to tshuva in the following way, because when a person's going to have to do tshuva, he's going to have to reckon with the amount of mental pleasure he got from the actual sin. Because part of what tshuva is all about is trying to rectify the amount of forbidden pleasures that a person might have gotten for any particular sin. So if, in addition to the physical pleasures of the goof, a person experienced also psychological and mental pleasures, so a person is going to have to do shuvah from that as well. That's what he means here. From here you're able to learn that you see that the lave, the person's mind, is going to be taken to task. It's going to receive a punishment for the joy that it got through sinning. Why is that? Kia makshava he continue on. That's okay? That's clear?
Yeah, it's clear now. Yes. Ki hamachshava hahi yotz as lipoal ba'asher ha simcha hahi nich ras baguf ze lev simcha yitav panim. Because these thoughts, they go out. What is po'al?
They affect in behavior. This is an expression, yotzi lepo, meaning they bear fruit, or they have physical ramifications, physical consequences.
In what in his happiness, Uh, and it is uh,
Nikaris is it's visible, it's apparent in the body.
it's apparent in the body. This heart is happy and good on his face.
Right.
So what we were saying, when he does tshuva, then his face reflects it.
Well, yeah, that's going to be also very relevant here because when a person when a person is free from sin, right? So that should be a relief. He should have a resolution of his doubts. It's like a person who goes into court not knowing he's going to be convicted or vindicated. And when he comes out, he's vindicated, right? He's freed from charges. He's going to be very, very happy. So tshuva, in the very same way, tshuva frees us from the din, right? If we do tshuva, we're saved from the din,
Right.
the judgment. Right? Tshuva has the ability to even in if it's done properly, uh, completely, the tshuva has the ability to erase the sin. It may not erase it 100%, but it can certainly make it a lot easier, and it could even um, nullify any type of a din that was going to be uh, leveled against the person. So by doing tshuva, we have tshuva should accompany with it a tremendous simcha, right? A very tremendous simcha that he's now, if he does it proper tshuva and he receives a full pardon and atonement, he's on a very high level of joy because the neshama now feels cleansed and free from the muddiness, the dirtiness of the averas that were bearing down heavy upon it. So that is a tremendous relief for the neshama, and it's also a tremendous relief from the mind. The mind, instead of being preoccupied with what's going to be in terms of all the various sins that he has and the various different consequences of all those sins. So if he does tshuva and he erases all those sins, he frees his mind from all those concerns, and that's also going to reflect very strongly in his actual physical body, right? His physical body is going to be a much healthier, a much more sustainable organism than a body which tshuva doesn't exist in. Because the tshuva is going to allow a person to have this feeling of satisfaction, of freedom, of joy over the slicha kapara and joy of experiencing Kadosh Baruch Hu's kindness to him through the fact that he's doing tshuva. And that's going to have a tremendous effect. So people therefore should bear this in mind, and they should definitely make sure that when they do tshuva, their tshuva should be a full and complete tshuva, even in the realm of the makshavas. Okay, very good. I think is a good place to stop. Yeah, well, I'm not going to go start the next paragraph till tomorrow. Let's take a short break.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you for your reading.
Baruch to you, Mayor.
Very good. See you both